Hi, I'm a tutor from mathsandenglish.net, and today we'll be looking at applying the 4 operations to decimals. So firstly, I'd like to look at addition and subtraction. Actually, with this, there's not that much to go through. If you've seen our previous video, you already have seen how to add and subtract numbers. With decimals, you can do it kind of exactly the same way. You can treat it as if the decimal point isn't there, and as long as you remember to put it back in at the end, you'll come out with the same answer. We'll go through a quick example together, just to recap it in case you've forgotten. So here we have 38.61 minus 21.52. So firstly, we start from the digit on the far right, and we subtract the bottom number from the top number. So we have 1 minus 2. You might realise that that gives us a negative number, which we don't want. So we borrow a 1 from the 6 and turn that into 11. Now we have 11 minus 2, which should give us 9. Now we go on to the next number. We originally had 6 minus 5, but that's not the case anymore. Now we've borrowed 1 from the 6, that's 5. So 5 minus 5 will give us 0. Then we have 8 minus 1, which should give us 7. 3 minus 2, which should give us 1. And you come out with a final answer of 17.09. Have a go at this addition yourself, pause the video and come back to get the answer. If everything's gone to plan, the answer that you should hopefully have gotten is 18.39. Now we'll move on to multiplication. For multiplication, there's a couple of steps that you'll want to follow. Firstly, we have 1.4 times 0.5. Multiplying decimals can be a little bit confusing, especially when trying to figure out where to kind of start. So here's the first thing that you want to do. You want to turn them into normal numbers, non-decimal numbers. So to do that, in each one you will move the decimal point one space to the right. So in 1.4 you'll move the decimal point to the right, and in 0.5 you'll move the decimal point to the right. That should give you 14 times 5. Now you need to remember how many times you've moved it. So we've moved it twice, once on the 1.4 and once on the 0.5. We've moved it twice to the right. Now we have 14 times 5. Now that it's a full number, you can work out that multiplication using the methods that we talked about in the previous video, and you should get 70. Now, to get from 70 to our final answer, we have one more step. We said before that we had moved the decimal points twice to the right, so now we need to do the opposite and move them twice to the left. And that should give us 0.7. Now we'll try division. Here we have 15 divided by 0.3. Here only one of the numbers is a decimal, but this will apply to any numbers that you'll work with. So, a decimal again seems a little bit confusing. So you want to turn it into a number that's not a decimal. And in a division, you want to do the same thing to both sides. So anything you do to one of the numbers, you also have to do to the other one. So how do we take 0.3 from being a decimal to being a whole number? We will multiply it by 10. And because we've multiplied that by 10, we need to multiply 15 by 10 as well. And that should give us 150 divided by 3. Again, using the methods from the previous video, you work that out, and you should get an answer of 50. Now, you don't actually need to do anything from here. In multiplication, we needed to move the decimal point to take it back to being the correct answer. But here, because we've done the same thing to both numbers, we can actually keep it the same. Now you have a go. Pause the video, try working these out, and come back to see the answer. Hopefully, the answers that you should have gotten is 4 for the first question, and 0.48 for the second. Next lesson, we'll be looking at multiplying and dividing simple fractions. Subscribe to the channel to see that video, and I'll see you next time.